Clare Davis, and I am back with Mental Health Chats, and I am really excited because we are talking about how trust and delegation actually drive staff retention with the wonderful Tania Ray today. So hello, Tania. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much, Claire, for having me. I'm good. Thank you.
And thank you so much for being here with us and telling us all about your experience, because you are so experienced in this field. So first of all, Tania, whereabouts are you based?
In Northwest London. So I was raised in India and I have been living in this country for the last 20 years. Thank
Oh,
you.
wonderful, wonderful. Oh, lovely. So let's talk about how trust and delegation actually drive staff retention. So first of all, what would be really good is if you explain your experience and where you've come from so that we can sort of understand why you know all about this.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Claire. So I am a senior resourcing operations and people leader, and I have 20 years of experience working across two really large global firms in the tech consulting and M&A advisory space. Now, I currently work as a recruiting consultant, offering mentoring, coaching, interviewing, and CV writing services. Now, I will start with a statement which really helped me reflect that in the last 16 years, the pace of transformation and innovation has been so rapid that it feels as if we have experienced a century's worth of change in a decade and a half. So when change and innovation are the only constant, it is so important to build trust in our people.
Definitely.
And really works towards their well-being and motivation. So with that in mind, I really believe that creating trust helps get the best in people. Having managed teams across multiple geographies and remotely, in my career, I've often really having to build trust in people through delegation to get the best out of them and to keep them motivated.
Oh, that's wonderful. And it sounds like you've got so much experience in this field. And it's going to really help the listeners here because there's such a shortage of skilled workers in the UK at the moment. So thinking about the shortage of skilled workers and what you've just said, why is it so important for organizations to actually retain their top talent by building that trust?
So brilliant question, Claire. So as I said, it's so important to build trust in today's VUCA world where everything is changing, right? So in my experience, the main reasons, the why of why we need to build a trust is it creates an engaged and empowering workforce, right? An engaged workforce leads to high-performing team and therefore brilliant results, right? An empowered workforce often creates their own ownership in the work. And therefore, we do not have to deal with trends like quiet quitting, right?
Yes.
It creates a positive and inclusive culture, and that reduces workplace stress and therefore also helps boost mental well-being. And that's so important in today's world, right? And it creates value and true recognition for people. When people feel valued and recognized, they get the best for themselves. They bring the best foot forward and you really get the complete buy-in. So these are the three things: engages workforce, creates positive culture, and creates value recognition for people. And that's the reason why I feel it's so important to build trust through delegation.
Oh, you've summed that up so beautifully. And if we can have an engaged workforce, and I'm always talking to my clients about having positive culture, it's so key. So let's think about the building trust and delegating to motivate our teams. So what strategies can organizations use to build that trust and delegate to actually motivate their teams?
Thank you, Claire. So having worked for two large successful companies, I have seen a lot of strategies and witnessed them firsthand. So in my experience, the 4 key strategies that has always worked is having a transparent and clear communication strategy, because it tells people what the big picture is.
Yeah.
It really puts everyone on the same page. It creates a collective purpose. And that's really, really important. So as a leader, I always feel showcase the big picture and you get people's buy-in and bring them on a journey. The next thing is celebrating success. So acknowledging publicly that someone has been delegated an important task and they have done their best is so important. So as a leader, I've always encouraged that in a team huddle, you thank people. And it goes a really, really long way to have that public acknowledgement more than rewards and bonuses.
Yeah.
The third thing I feel is having a feedback culture. And as a leader, be receptive to feedback. Because when you have a feedback culture, people truly believe that the firm or organization believes in their personal growth, right? You always need that feedback to validate if you're on the right trajectory. And finally, I feel encouraging innovation in a psychologically safe environment. When you create that safe space for your team and your people, they know that they can speak their mind and they take every failure as an opportunity for growth. So these are the 4 strategies which have always worked for me to create that area of safety, to motivate teams, and therefore create trust.
I love those points that you just said, especially it's just reminding me of a group of managers that I was coaching just the other day, and we really honed in on the giving as well as receiving feedback and how important it was to create that feedback culture. Because if we can build strategies like this, which is what I do with all of my clients, to make sure they're bringing these strategies with their top talent, it's absolutely key, but we've got to make sure they are actually implementing them, not just talking about them. So because it's such a competitive job market out there, are there any other strategies that you can suggest so that teams, leaders, managers are actually implementing strategies into the workplace to retain their staff and build that trust?
Thank you, Claire. That's a great question. Again, leaning on in my experience, I feel there are a fair few things I've experienced which helps it. So the main thing for me is prioritizing well-being of your people, especially mental well-being. So in one of my prior employers, for example, used to give Friday afternoons off if you managed your workload in the 4.5 days of the week and also your contracted hours. Now, this is a brilliant demonstration of trusting your people, delegating that they could manage their deliverables, but at the same time prioritizing their well-being, because those afternoons people could spend time with their families or inculcate a hobby or even reflect for and prepare for the next week. But it just really demonstrated that they were building trust, but also prioritizing the well-being of people, right? In my experience, delegation from a leader when they are going on a holiday. So when they go on a holiday, they delegate the important tasks and projects to the direct reportees. It really builds that trust. Now, your top talent thrives in a challenging and growth environment. They want that, stretch targets. And when you actually delegate your important tasks to them, and then again do a public acknowledgement of it, it just immediately builds that trust, right? I also am a very strong advocate of giving learning and development opportunities for people. And that also creates that element of trust in people, because what people are looking at is it could be quick lunch and learn, or it could be a large and immersive learning opportunity. But it helps that the manager trusts you. The manager understands that through this delegation, you're able to get your personal growth as well. And
Yeah.
finally, which is what I really believe in, is creating an entrepreneurial spirit, basically decentralizing decision making. Again, it creates empowerment in people, and that truly helps people to have that motivation to do things on themselves, gets that ownership, and it just creates an autonomous culture. And that's, again, so brilliant to motivate your team members.
I love all of those points, and I especially love the empowerment. And so often I hear leaders say, we want to empower people, we want to empower people, and they don't really know how. And it's working out,
Great.
how can I empower them to show them that I trust them 110% to complete these tasks. It's so, so key. And if we empower people, I just love the word, the entrepreneurial environment. They're feeling like they own it, and they want to do well because they own it. They're so much more motivated. So that's absolutely brilliant, Tania. Thank you so much for your wise words. You've been absolutely incredible. You've had so many insights there, so much. So I'm going to be rewatching this to make sure I've taken it all in. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who would love to know where to find you to get some more advice. So where can people find you, Tania?
You can find me on LinkedIn as Tania Ray. So yeah, that's where I am. Thank you so much, Claire.
Well, thank you and take care.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.